Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the K. Yeager Coliseum here in beautiful Wichita Falls, Texas. It's a lovely Saturday evening. We hope all of you tuning in this evening are having a wonderful weekend thus far. The Wildcats in the midst of a 10-game winning streak over the Amarillo Bulls, trying to make it 11 in a row here tonight. These points very valuable in the standings. They've got an opportunity to further extend themselves from the Lone Star Brahmas, who just continue to put pressure on the Wildcats for that elusive first-place spot in the South Division standings. The Wildcats currently hang on by a 5-point margin. It's been that way for quite some time. The Brahmas just continue to win their games. They've won 5 in a row. The Wildcats on quite a good streak of their own. However, they did just lose to Corpus Christi, which enabled the Brahmas to come within 5. So it continues to be a very close race down the stretch, just 7 games remaining. And this, ask just about any Wildcat player down there, this is pretty much as close as it comes to a must-win game. It's against a team that has been eliminated from postseason contention, the Amarillo Bulls, with no chance of making the playoffs in the KYC, where the Wildcats have not lost in 2016. So this is a game the Wildcats have to win, because the points in the standings certainly more valuable to them than they are for Amarillo. The players just now making their way onto the K. Yeager Coliseum ice, as you can see on your screen on fasthockey.com. For those of you listening on YouTube, welcome to tonight's broadcast. I'm Alex Von Coyle with you as always. Again, hoping you're having a wonderful weekend up till this point. The Wildcats, if they can get the win tonight, I'm sure that will make your weekend even better. Here, if they can really just set the tone for this season series. They've already won 10 in a row. If they win tonight, it'll be 11. And going all the way back to November 6th of 2015. That was the last time the Wildcats lost to the Amarillo Bulls. It was actually the first matchup of the season. The Bulls were the last team in the South Division, the last divisional team they would end up facing this year. They'd faced everyone else prior to facing Amarillo, and just did not come prepared to that game. We're not ready to face the Bulls. They really took them for granted, so to speak. The Bulls being at the bottom of the standings for virtually the entire season. The Wildcats did not put their best foot forward in that game, and many expected after that 4-1 defeat way back on November 6th, the Bulls would pose all kinds of problems for the Wildcats this season with their size and their grit and their veteran leadership and their ability to hit. The Wildcats, of course, being a younger, faster team, many believed the Bulls would assert their physical presence over the Wildcats and dominate them, much like they did back on November 6th. But ever since that game, the Wildcats have been undefeated against the Bulls. It has turned into the most lopsided season series in the entire South Division this year. Justin Kapelmaster's name just now being announced by the public address announcer, Charles Campbell. He works his way to the Wildcats blue line, gives a fist bump to the Wildcats mascot, Crazy Cat. The Wildcats starting lineup is brought to you by Pelican's Restaurant. It will be read to you momentarily, but first for the Amarillo Bulls, their starting lineup. They have not made their way onto the ice yet, so we can only speculate from here. Going off of their top line, as per their line chart here, George Mika, Cole Norris, and Joey Molinaro, their big line, presumably starting tonight, but we'll see and we'll keep you posted. Jeff Salau and Matt Nels listed as the 2 starting defensemen for Amarillo. And in goal, Brian Baker. He started last night. This will be his 4th consecutive start for the Amarillo Bulls, with Anton Martinson, the North American Hockey League's leader in saves this season, out nursing a lower body injury. Singing of our country's national anthem as the players are lined up for a Billet family ovation. It is Billet Family Appreciation Night, so the players getting prepared. Stay tuned. And Big John Wilson gets a very well-deserved round of applause here from the K. Yeager Coliseum crowd, which was 1,500 strong last night, around the average attendance here at the KYC this season. And of course, the remainder of March's home games here in Wichita Falls are $5 ticket nights, so a very good deal for the Wildcats fans, a deserved promotion for them. That Wildcats ownership has decided to reward the Wildcats' very faithful and loyal fan base this season with $5 tickets for the remainder of March and free tickets for the games on April 7th and 8th against the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, which are the final two games of this regular season, which has been one to remember for the Wildcats. And now, as you can see, for those of you viewing on Fast Hockey, those are all the families, the billet families here in town, the parents of the billet parents, I should say, of all the players. So they do the housing. They house all of these young players, and the players now skate roses over to their billet families as we speak. The first one, Garrett Van Wy, who gives a hug as well to his billet family. Garrett Van Wy skated the rose to Chris Shelley and Logan Simpson. And now Jake Dalton, Johnny Lazarus, and Eric Yeager skated their roses to Mary and John Ferguson, their billet mother and father. Now, Holden Cronin is a scratch tonight, so in his stead, Noah Gilraith skates the rose over to Will and Lori Haney. Now for the goaltenders, Justin Kappelmaster and Julian Syme. Syme is out tonight with an upper body injury, so Kappelmaster will skate the rose over to Nan Rice. Very nice lady. Had the pleasure of having dinner with her and the goaltenders not long ago. She invited me over for a wonderful dinner, and I had a wonderful evening. And the two of them, those two goaltenders, very lucky to be not only roommates with each other, but to have her as their billet mother. And now Nick Rosa and Trent Dillinger skate over to give their rose to Brad Campsey. Nikita Litviak among that company as well. And now for Ryan Burnett's billet parents, Mary Darrell and Andy Albertson. Noah Gilraith's billet family, Corey, Darby, Maverick, and Landry Glassburn. Corey and Darby, the two of them married their kids, Maverick and Landry. Corey, of course, does the DJ in-house work here at the KYC, does a tremendous job with it as well. And Darby Glassburn has filled in at times for Meg, who does the mid-game interviews with a lot of the fans and whatnot, the kids' night out as well. Now Dom Sipis skates over to join Matt Hines, who is his roommate, or his billet mate, I should say, to give his rose to Kathy and John McGowan, the billet parents of Matt Hines and Dom Sipis. Of course, Carrie Goodsir, the billet mother to her biological son, Adam Goodsir, and his longtime teammate, Michael Rounds, both of them natives of Michigan. Carrie Goodsir having moved here from Michigan to buy a house in Wichita Falls in order to support Adam on his hockey endeavors. The ultimate hockey mom, one could say, Carrie Goodsir. Now Austin Bolio and Rourke Russell, who are housed by Bob and Deb Welch. They also house Ben Lown, but he will be scratched tonight as well. And last but not least, the billet family to Alexi Poikala, Jeff Baum, Austin Albrecht, and Andre Paisan, the Royers, Rhonda and Howard. Four young players skate over to thank them as well. Howard Royer, of course, also the president of the Wildcats Booster Club. Super fan, to say the least, Howard Royer. And Rhonda Royer, Tremendous lady as well. Very pleasant to be around. She will be at the Booster Club table this evening along with Howard throughout the intermissions as the posters will be auctioned off throughout the game. Posters, which I must add have been very well designed. Each of the players has one, including Trent Dillinger, who has only been a Wildcat for a few months, but regardless, he's got a poster of his own as well, although he's not wearing a Wildcats jersey because we couldn't find a picture of him wearing his right number in a Wildcats jersey. So he's wearing what I believe to be the jersey of his hometown team in the NA3HL before he became an Amarillo Bull up in Gillette. The team name escapes me at the moment, but a native of Gillette, Wyoming. That is where he got his start. Booster Club will be auctioning off those posters to 25 or so very lucky fans here tonight. The Wildcats starting lineup, as was promised, is brought to you by Pelican's Restaurant, and it is as follows. Again, Justin Kappelmaster tending goal. He's got his 44th start on his hands tonight, and he's won a pretty big chunk of those starts, folks. He has just been tremendous this season. Justin Kappelmaster with 29 wins this season. And with last night's victory, he tied Gavin Nieto and Hunter Shepard for the league lead in wins. I believe at least one of those two goaltenders has passed him in that department. But regardless, a very impressive resume being built this season by Justin Kappelmaster in his final year in junior hockey before he moves on to Ferris State University next year, Division I program up in Minnesota. I believe tonight are playing the alma mater of Josh Nelson, Minnesota State University, Mankato. Now Jeff Baum participates in the ceremonial puck drop. Rhonda Royer dropped the puck. Baum against Joe DiBenedetto in that face-off, in that ceremonial face-off. Continuing on with the Wildcats starting lineup, Dom Sipis and Jeff Baum on defense tonight. They get another start back there at the blue line. This time starting at forward, Eric Yeager's line. Yeager's got Nikita Litviak and Trent Dillinger with him. Trent Dillinger, the former Amarillo Bull, was actually credited with the first goal of last night's game, so I apologize for that. I thought it was Yeager, as did several others on the bench. Yeager led the celebration as if he had scored, which is part of what prompted me to believe that he had tucked it in. However, it was not Yeager, it was Trent Dillinger. So Dillinger with 2 goals already against his former Amarillo Bulls team. As Litviak takes a sharp angle shot, and then as Brian Baker's first stop of the evening. And the first period of Wildcats hockey is brought to you by American Classifieds. Now the puck is battled for along the near half wall in the Wildcat zone as Baum slaps it off the end board, then it goes off the back of the net. Trent Dillinger picks it up down there. He has to circle away from Liam Ferguson. Now he gets it back to Jeff Baum. Baum holds and fires. I think Baker got just a piece of it. Fromberger gets it up to Joe DiBenedetto on the left wing side, and he will bank the puck off the glass and down the length of the ice. No icing here. Baum picks it up after Kappelmaster got his first touch on it. Yeager bobbles it back out to center. Dom Sipis retreating in behind his own net to play it. We're 1 minute into this game here. We're scoreless. Just a shot has been fired on goal. It belongs to the Wildcats as Baum airmails this one the length. Will icing be called? Yes, it will. The Bulls beating out the Wildcats to that loose puck, so we get our first whistle of this hockey game. As always, folks, if you'd like a shout out at any point throughout this broadcast, shoot me a text, shoot the Wildcats Twitter page a message, let us know where you're tuning in from, and I would be more than happy to give you a shout out before this game comes to an end. Looks like a pretty strong crowd again tonight. Wildcats hoping to make it 2 in a row and hoping to extend their home winning streak in 2016. They have not lost a game in the annual year. Very impressive. Paisan picks the puck up along the half boards. Jeff Salau working it away from him. Bolio got it back to the right side for Gilraith, whose shot didn't get through the traffic. Paisan's follow-up shot punched away by Baker. Now Bolio has it along the half wall once more. Has to pivot away from Salau. He gets it back to Gilraith. Gilraith got it to Rounds. Waits, shoots, tipped, stopped by Baker. Rolls into the far corner. Bolio is manned up there by Tyler Gernhofer, and the puck is flipped into the Wildcat zone. Rounds in pursuit against Ferguson. Ferguson goes down. Albrecht picks up the loose puck and will skate the puck down the right wing side. He gains the blue line onside with Rosa going to the goal. Albrecht wheels in behind, turns it on target, stopped by Baker. He's off to a pretty strong start, 3 for 3. Rourke Russell gave it across for Jake Dalton. Russell had a goal in last night's contest. His second goal against the Amarillo Bulls this season. And it was a beauty as Dalton fires one from the right point. A good 50 feet out, and it was off target. Albrecht's pass intended for Lazarus. It was picked off and fired back out to center. Dalton is on it there. Nick Rosa had it poked away. Now it's Russell rather, assuming control in his own zone. Russell wants the return from Jake Dalton and gets it back there. Player to look out for, I think, tonight, Austin Bolio's had a tremendous season against the Amarillo Bulls. I mean, he's really had a tremendous season in general, but and last season as well. Has just been a very, very good player for John LaFontaine ever since coming here to the Wildcats. Been one of Coach LaFontaine's go-to guys, really. Both seasons he has been a part of this organization. But against Amarillo, Austin Bolio's got 15 points, which is more than a third of his point total this season. So look out for him tonight. Had 2 assists last night as Baum takes a shot, soaked up, rebound, they score! Garrett Van Wy picked up the loose puck in the blue ice. The initial save was made by Baker, but he coughed up a rebound right to Garrett Van Wy, and the scoreless drought is over for number 9. He punches it past Brian Baker to give the Wildcats a 1-0 lead, just 3.5 minutes in. Nikita Litviak punches the puck down into the right corner. Centering attempt. Rounds is tripped by Santoro. No penalty forthcoming. Yeager will try to chip it back to Rounds, working the puck in deep. Foreman overskates it. Now Salah with a chance to clear. Played it off to Benedetto, but not out. Fired wide of the cage. Baker just lets it go. Houston will put it back there for Jeff Salau. Houston did not play in the game last night. The former USHLer, not sure if he was out with an injury or what have you, but in his stead, Tyler Hall was in that spot last night, and tonight Hall is absent. So we'll see what kind of difference Jake Houston can make from the blue line this evening. We know he's a pretty skilled defenseman back there for Matt Nicholson and the Amarillo Bulls, and the Wildcats coaching staff very much aware of what he can bring. Austin Bolio on the right side, pies onto the goal. Bolio the shot, turned aside by Baker. Puck rolls free into the near corner boards. A few players scrum away for it. Shoveling away there is Bolio. Pushes it further down the boards for Paisan, who's wrapped up down there by DiBenedetto. Puck stolen again by Goodsir. Goodsir wheels into the slot. Bolio gets the pass, and his shot went off a Bull's stick and out of play. 15-12 to go in period 1. It's an early 1-0 lead for the Wildcats off a Garrett Van Wy rebound goal. He punched it past Brian Baker after putting it on his backhand, and that just looked way too easy for the Wildcats. Garrett Van Wy going to the dirty areas in the right place at the right time, but you've got to give him credit. Certainly you've got to give him credit, but really you've got to, I think there's some fault has to be given to the Amarillo defense, giving a guy like Garrett Van Wy that kind of room right in front of Brian Baker. George Mika flies down the left side. Couldn't stick handle his way past Jake Dalton. Molinaro wrapped up by Rourke Russell. Cole Norris pushes it back to his defenseman Fromberger rather, and delayed penalty upcoming here. The Wildcats guilty of a penalty here early, possibly a hook. It will be against Adam Goodsir, and he's going to have a seat. Wildcats penalty kill was 2 for 3 last night. Speaking with the Wildcats GM and President Paul Baxter, as well as the head coach John LaFontaine this morning, they made it pretty obvious that what they believe to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, flaws in the Wildcats game right now is the amount of times they spend shorthanded this season, which is the third most in the entire league, and the ratio times shorthanded versus power play opportunities, which is also third worst in the entire league. They have struggled really all season. If there's one area you can criticize the Wildcats in their season, is the amount of time they've spent in the penalty box and have been shorthanded. It's not that they haven't been able to kill off those penalties that they end up having to kill off for themselves. They've done that as well as just about anybody. 86.3% of the time they kill off the penalty they take, but you can crack that number down to fewer times spent in the penalty box, and you can sit pretty tight, force teams to score 5-on-5. As Rounds is slammed into the boards, the puck is cleared just beyond the reach of Matt Nels, and it bobbles out to center. Joey Molinaro reassumes control there as he's pursued deliberately by Austin Bolio. Good. Molinaro takes it all the way in behind his own net. Gave it across for Santoro. It was a bit behind his reach, not in his wheelhouse. And the Bulls have to reset as a result. All five of them near their own goal line as they reset here on the breakout. Matt Nels blasts the puck on target. Routine save by Kapellmaster. Dalton scoops up the loose puck and banks it off the glass and down the ice. Joey Molinaro, the Bulls' leading scorer with 39 points this season, gave it off to the right side. It's Tyler Gernhofer backing it to the right point. Salau sets up Molinaro in the slot. He's open. He fires. Blocked. Rebound. Score. Tyler Gernhofer with a tap-in goal for Amarillo, a power play goal, and just like that, they've tied the game up. .12:49 to go in period one. It's already 1-1. 7-2 the shots in favor of the Wildcats, and that last one, Kapellmaster hadn't a chance in the world to save it. Made the initial stop on Joey Molinaro. I believe it got a piece of him. Molinaro's shot went through all kinds of traffic, and he is such a dangerous and prolific scorer that he demands all sorts of respect from opposing defenses and goaltenders. You've got to be aware of him when he's on the ice. And respecting Molinaro's shot, Kapellmaster came out a bit aggressively. He knows how well he can shoot the puck. Kapellmaster out aggressively to cut down the angle Molinaro had, made the stop, but because he was out so far, Tyler Gernhofer had a 4x6 cage to shoot at. And he made no mistake. Longtime Amarillo Bull has been with the franchise since the 2012-2013 season. He had a stint up at the University of Vermont. Earlier this season was sent back to the Amarillo Bulls, say about midway through the campaign. Ryan Burnett with a good hustle to outrace the opposition for the icing. That was Matt Meininger, who he beat out in the foot race. Put it across the ice. It's Alexei Poikala. He's got an open man in Rounds. He finds him. Rounds the shot. Punched away by Baker. Poikala picks up the puck around the board. Sets up Rounds again. High slot. Hangs on. Fires a changeup that knuckles into the glove of Baker for his 7th save of the evening. Of the South Division matchups again going on tonight, folks. The Topeka Roadrunners hosting the Odessa Jackalopes after that barn burner last night. They've got a 1-0 lead as of right now. Last night the score was 7-6 in favor of the Topeka Roadrunners. What a game that was. You've got to give the Odessa Jackalopes credit for putting up 6 goals without a lot of their players who were suspended after that major altercation that took place out in Lone Star last Saturday night. It was essentially an all-out line brawl. I watched the video today, hadn't seen it until today. Earlier this morning as Rourke Russell turns one on goal, sticked aside and up into the bleachers by Brian Baker. But boy, was that something. Tough to find a Jackalopes player who was not involved in that scuffle. Connor Wood, Cooper Zeck, Taylor Gatto, the head coach Greg Gatto, Taylor's father, Matthew Rippon, Jake Levin was involved. I mean, there were just all sorts of players really on both sides. Don't want to sell the Brahmas short, but from what I saw, it was essentially instigated all by the Odessa Jackalopes. Being down 5-1, they clearly weren't happy with the game, the way the game was going, as Cyprus's long shot from the right point was blocked down by the crowd of players out in front of Brian Baker. Meanwhile, Houston pushes it in deep, takes it all the way in behind the Wildcats goal line as he loves to do so much, then wraps it around the boards back to the left point. Liam Ferguson gets it deep. Noah Gilraith glides the puck forth. Trent Dillinger picks it up, takes a tumble along with Jeff Salau, whom he brought down. Now the loose puck is corralled by Dillinger in behind the Bulls net. Dillinger has to pivot away from Salau and Meininger. Salau picks it up. Rosa pressures him. Sent off the half boards now. It's Litviak battling hard for the puck. Litviak will hook it back to the high slot once more. Rounds his shot. Swallowed by Baker. 8 of 9, Brian Baker, off to a better start than he was last night, I'd say. We're nearing the midway point of period 1. 10:20 to go in the first period. 9-3 the shots, but 1-1 the score. Meininger hugging the boards, Lazarus pinning him up there. Albrecht, who just crossed the 50-point plateau last night, jabs the puck free. Then he gets hooked down by Meininger. Scales it up the half boards, but not out. Glove down by Lazarus after it popped down in the air. No hand pass is ruled. Lazarus sets up Gilraith high slot, tries to crisscross with Michael Rounds, ran out of real estate at the blue line, and he had his pocket picked by Molinaro, who couldn't backhand the puck ahead for a wide open Cole Norris, who would have had a breakaway. Instead, it's an offside play against the Amarillo Bulls. Austin Albrecht became the 19th player in franchise history to score 50 points. Joey Molinaro is going to head to the Bulls sin bin for tripping. But anyways, Albrecht with a milestone last night. A very well-deserved milestone. He's been a renaissance man for the Wildcats this season. He's really done it all. Goals, assists, points, fights, hits. Can play power play and penalty kill. Has been a very versatile player for Coach LaFontaine and the Wildcats this year. And if you're going to pick somebody who's been most improved, a veteran who's been most improved from last season to this season on the Wildcats, I'm not sure you can go with anyone aside from him. You could argue the case for Jeff Baum, of course, but he was injured for a large chunk of that season, so it'd be a big asterisk next to that. Oikala and Lazarus in unison down there battling for the puck. Lazarus ends up with it. Gives it to Albrecht behind the net. He's sealed off by Nels. Litviak picks it up and sends it to the left side. Poikala takes the shot, redirected just wide by Lazarus. Smart play by Alexei Poikala. He saw the stick on the backdoor opportunity. Lazarus just couldn't punch it into the net. Now Kappelmaster fakes out the Bulls forechecker, Charlie Singerhouse, and then gives it back to Jeff Baum. Baum, the second power play quarterback now after Noah Gilraith, sets up Adam Goodser through center. Goodser will dump it in deep. Yeager goes after it. The Bulls try to clear it. Kept alive by Yeager. Now it's Goodser behind the Bulls net. Goodser couldn't get it to Paisan, parked out in front. And Salau has cleared it the length of the ice. Kappelmaster will leave it. Bulio, one of those 19 Wildcats to have crossed the 50-point plateau in his career. He did so last season. Good stick handling. He's got good sort of the net. Bulio, the shot, and a blocker save is made by Brian Baker as the Bulls end up with it. Charlie Singerhouse on a one-on-one opportunity. Clear cut to the net against Jeff Baum. Singerhouse takes it wide on. Baum shoots, and he scores! Charlie Singerhouse shot from the left half boards, and it snuck through Kapellmester's 5-hole. He can't believe it. The puck barely trickled across the goal line. If there was a net cam view, there'd be some controversy on this. Some of the Wildcats did not think it had fully crossed the goal line, but the referee, Ian Gendro, believes it did. This is going to be a shorthanded goal for the Amarillo Bulls. Charlie Singerhouse. The Bulls have just scored one shorthanded goal all season, and it belongs to Charlie Singerhouse. So he's got his second and his team's second with that goal from a severe angle, and Kapellmester's not going to be happy with himself after that one. And folks, Julian Syme is not available tonight. He's got an upper body injury he's been dealing with for quite some time. Look out here, backhand shot. What a save by Brian Baker, who just robbed Nick Rosa after the Bulls turned it over. Now a puck battle ensues in the left corner. Burnett put it wide on the short side of the net. Dalton hustles over there, cleared by Molinaro, who's out of the box. Here comes Michael Foreman on the rush. Rosa hustles back. Foreman to the goal, slides it just wide through the blue paint. Santoro against Burnett, pushed free by Burnett. Rosa's got a one-on-one. Rosa crosses into the slot. Good stick check. He did not have a whole lot of help. His teammates were changing. Nick Rosa due for a change as well as he works his way back to the Wildcats bench. He's replaced by Eric Yeager. Here come the Cats. Trent Dillinger, the former Bull, right side, takes the shot, blocked before it could get to the net by Matt Meininger as it trickles wide in the near corner. Yeager working for it. Santoro emerging with it. Gilraith flips it ahead for Nikita Litviak. Puck bobbles. Here comes Gernhofer. Gernhofer lets it rip. Glove save by Kapellmester. Gilraith played it off the half boards. Now it's Yeager sliding it through center. Intercepted by Gernhofer, who will give it back to his defense. Jake Rosenbaum for Matt Meininger now. Played out to center once more. Tyler Gernhofer could have a 2-on-1. Sarnowski to the goal, and the late man was Rosenbaum. He was calling for it. Not sure Gernhofer saw him because he forced a pass that was picked off. Now Dillinger can't clear. Kept alive left point. Awkward looking save, but Kapellmester stopped it as Rounds takes over behind his own net with 6.25 to go in period one, and the Wildcats trailing for the first time in the game, 2-1. Lazarus slices through center, takes it wide on Houston, and we have an offside whistle against the Wildcats. Tonight with Julian Syme out with an upper body injury, which he's been nursing for a little while now. The Wildcats have called up Hunter Smith from the HC Dallas. Some fans listening may be familiar with the name. Hunter Smith tried out for the Wildcats back in August. Did not make the team. He and Darren Fox were the goaltenders invited to training camp. They fell short of making the Wildcats roster. Hunter Smith was sent back to his hockey club in Dallas, a very young goaltender. I think just a month or so older than Julian Syme. And his mother, Shannon Smith, works for the North American Hockey League in their main office. Hunter Smith, a Flower Mound, Texas native, who is on the bench tonight for the Wildcats as an emergency backup. And Kapellmester allows too many more goals like the one we just saw. We may be seeing some of Hunter Smith tonight, folks. Kapellmester has shown all season he has the ability to put goals like that behind him. He's got a very short memory. We saw a goal pretty similar to that one. Coincidentally, it happened against the Amarillo Bulls way back on that first game this season, which the Cats and the Bulls faced off. November 6th, when the Wildcats were in Amarillo at the bullpen. It was just a pretty weak wrist shot, a routine wrist shot from the blue line that somehow got past Justin Kapelmaster. And if you're a goaltender, plays like that are inevitable. They're going to happen. Here comes Beaulieu on the rush with Paisan. Paisan crosses into the slot. That's Albrecht, rather, and Albrecht lost possession of the puck. Joey Molinaro down the right wing. He's well offside, or Cole Norris was, rather. So Molinaro wisely elected to not cross the blue line. He will dump it in with 5 minutes remaining in period one, and the Cats trailing 2-1. Here comes Austin Beaulieu, gliding through center, smoothly gains the line. Good sir shot, glove save, rebound, pad save by Baker. Beaulieu scoops up the puck, wide open now. It's Rounds moving in, firing a shot that was blocked by a diving Joe DiBenedetto, and we're going to sound like a broken record saying that. DiBenedetto loves to block shots, and he's got another one. He had a huge block shot last night. Here's Michael Rounds. Rounds ahead. He sends Brian Burnett on his way with tons of speed on the right side. Burnett had his pocket picked there by the Bulls defenseman Philippe Fromberger. Liam Ferguson ridden into the boards by Alexei Poikla, who stole the puck from him, then gave a backhand pass out to center for Burnett. Two speedy forwards now in Burnett and Van Wy crossing the blue line. Jake Dalton tries to center. It went off a Bulls stick. Now it pops in deep behind the Amarillo net. Matt Meininger ends up with it. Gave it out to center ice where it's intercepted by Alexei Poikla, having a tremendous shift thus far for the Wildcats. And boy, he just looks more comfortable out there each and every game. One of the few bright spots in Saturday night's defeat to the Corpus Christi Ice Rays. Garrett Van Wy trying to go for a power move to the net. He's shoved back there and behind the Bulls' goal. Rourke Russell flips it wide of the net, perhaps intentionally. Eric Yeager in there, wins it from Meininger. Russell's open at the blue line. He gets the pass, and his shot was blocked by Liam Ferguson. Rattles in behind the Amarillo net. Trent Dillinger in pursuit of the puck. Charlie Singerhouse beats him to it. Ferguson flips it towards Rosenbaum. Good stick check by Dalton. Rourke Russell. Jake Dalton. That's Yeager, rather, his billet mate. Put it over the blue line. Litviak has it far circle. Litviak puts it towards the goal. It's picked off. 3 minutes remain in period one. It's a 2-1 hockey game in favor of the Amarillo Bulls. Joey Molinaro failed to clear it. Baum holds. Here's the shot, and it was blocked by Rosenbaum out in front. Puck lofted out to neutral ice. George Mika kicked it to his stick nicely. Molinaro pinned up there by Jeff Baum. Puck rattled around the boards, and it's going to be held in and fired on target. Easy save by Kapelmaster, who's made his fifth stop of tonight's game. 2-1 the score in favor of the Bulls, but the Wildcats have outshot Amarillo 12-7 this period thus far. First goal was a power play goal, by no means Kapelmaster's fault. The second one, however, he's not going to be happy with himself. Now it's up to the Wildcats to get it back for him. Jacob Nitschke with a long-range shot. Easy block there out in front. I think Rosa got it. He was standing right where Nitschke was about to shoot. As the puck is fired up in Nitschke's direction now. Good steal by Lazarus. Couldn't do a whole lot with it. As Zach Sarnowski, the speedy forward for the Amarillo Bulls, puts it on his backhand, carries it well wide down there. Lazarus comes together with Jacob Nitschke. Nitschke scratching away for that puck. He ends up with it there. Far circle, fires a shot, stick save Kapelmaster. Austin Albrecht wheels the puck down the left wing side, eludes a check from Phil Fromberger. Albrecht still has it on the left wing, drops it off to the trailer, fresh off a line change, and Jake Dalton. Dalton will give it back to the left point. It's Beaulieu calling for it. Russell one times a drive, and it was blocked. Given right to the slot again. Beaulieu fires, glove save, and a very dramatic one by Brian Baker. Probably Brian Baker's best save of the evening. And boy, that was a theatrical looking stop if I've ever seen one. Russell, point to Dalton. He holds, he shoots. Batted down by Baker and held. Baker's 13 of 14 tonight. .92 seconds remain here in period one. It's 2-1 Amarillo Bulls off that fluky shorthanded goal scored by Charlie Singerhouse as a Dalton shot is blockered away by Baker. 14 stops on the night for number 30 in red. And that goal scored by Charlie Singerhouse was his second and his team's second shorthanded goal this season. Great play there by Rourke Russell to assert some physical play on the Amarillo forechecker. Adam Goodser waits for the trailer. He's got Paisan. Paisan with a sharp angle shot. It goes through the net mouth. Sipus lets Goodser pick up the puck. Goodser's pass intended for Paisan goes all the way through to Austin Bulio. Bulio cross-checked by Matt Nels, gets away with it. Bulio tripped by Matt Nels, gets away with that. Puck goes out to center. Santoro gives it to Joe DiBenedetto on the left wing, and an offside whistle is called against the Bulls. 3/4 of a minute remain now in period one. 2-1 Bulls. 15-8 the shots in favor of the Cats. Brian Baker a lot more on his game tonight than he was last night. By the time the Wildcats had reached 15 shots last night, they already had 4 goals. Baum pushes up against Michael Foreman. Gave it around the half wall. Burnett clears it. Tipped further by Garrett Van Wy. Van Wy canceled out there by Houston. Still working hard for the puck. Now it's taken by Salau, and he gains some open ice in his own zone. The last minute of play is brought to you by La Quinta Inn & Suites, the official host hotel of your Wichita Falls Wildcats. The Bulls fire the puck in deep. A dozen seconds remain in the period. Sipus gets it along the corner wall. Van Wy with a chance to clear. Foreman kept it alive. Puts it into the corner. Molinaro closed off emphatically there by Sipus. Time for one last shot. The Bulls have run out of time. The first period comes to an end. 20 minutes in the books. The Wildcats find themselves trailing to the Amarillo Bulls in a game that they really have no excuse not to win. It's 2-1 Amarillo. 15-8 the shots in favor of the Wildcats. But they find themselves trailing after 20 minutes of play. The goals in tonight's game, the scoring was opened by Wichita Falls. Didn't take long, just 4 minutes in or so, 3.5 to be exact, 3:24. Garrett Van Wy put a backhand shot past the goaltender Brian Baker. After Jeff Baum took the initial shot, Baker made the save. And Van Wy was right there, virtually uncontested, to put the puck past Brian Baker on his backhand. So Garrett Van Wy ended his 5-game goalless drought with that tally. But he was answered pretty quickly, less than 4 minutes later, by Tyler Gernhofer on a power play goal. Joey Molinaro with the initial shot, another rebound goal. Wide open net for Tyler Gernhofer to shoot at after Kappelmaster made the initial stop on the Bulls' leading scorer, Joey Molinaro. That tied the game. And then about 5 minutes after that, Charlie Singerhouse scored on a goal Kappelmaster would like to forget about. It was just a shot from the left half boards after he had just crossed the blue line. Charlie Singerhouse, pretty routine save. Was expected there in that situation, but plays like that occur from time to time, and the puck just managed to squeeze past Kappelmaster's equipment and just roll just past the goal line and into the net. So that gave the Amarillo Bulls their first lead of the night, and that stands 2-1 Amarillo heading in to our first intermission. We're going to take a step aside here at the KYC, take a short break, fill you in when we come back on some out-of-town scores around the North American Hockey League and the National Hockey League, and we'll break down what needs to be done in period 2 for the Wildcats to turn this game around. Stay tuned, everyone. All right, welcome back, everybody, to our viewers on FastHockey.com and to our listeners on YouTube. Alex Von Coydel with you, as always, bringing you another edition of Wildcats Hockey here, presented by Armored Roofing. We hope you're having a wonderful weekend. The Wildcats not having the most wonderful first period. Unfortunately, they trail the Amarillo Bulls by a score of 2-1 here through 20 minutes of play. Despite going out to a 1-0 lead, what a lot of fans thought would be shades of last night's first period, they were sorely disappointed. Garrett Van Wy, however, ended a 5-game goalless drought, and very well deserved for him. He really created a chance after chance for himself down in Corpus Christi. Just couldn't manage to put the puck in the back of the net. You have to know it's been bothering him that he hadn't managed to score despite generating all kinds of opportunities with the puck on his stick, all sorts of chances for himself and his teammates. Finally gets rewarded for going hard to the net, scoring his 11th goal of the season and his 28th point. But unfortunately, that was quickly answered by the Amarillo Bulls and Tyler Gernhofer, a veteran Bull who's been with the franchise longer than anyone else on their team, tucked the puck into a wide-open net. Joey Molinaro had the puck on his stick on a power play. His shot was stopped by Kapelmaster, who had to come out aggressively, respecting the Amarillo's leading scorer and his ability to shoot the puck. So Kapelmaster did the right thing in that situation, coming out strong to make the save, but unfortunately the downside to playing that aggressively is if you get caught, there's nothing but net to shoot at for the next player if the next player gets it. Had Molinaro passed it, may not have gotten through, but the lane he took, he shot it, and the rebound bounced right to Gernhofer, who had nothing but net to shoot at, and he's not going to miss that. And then about 5 minutes later, a goal to forget about for the Wildcats. It was a short-handed goal scored by Charlie Singerhouse, who is third on the Amarillo Bulls in scoring this season, behind just Molinaro and George Mika, Molinaro's long-term line mate. So Charlie Singerhouse had his 11th goal of the year with that tally. His second short-handed goal, his 23rd point, and Singerhouse is the only Amarillo Bull this season who has scored while short-handed. He's got the Bulls' only 2 shorties this year, so it was a fortunate break for the Amarillo Bulls because it really barely just squeaked over the goal line. And I'm sure if you looked at that again, there might be some controversy as to whether the entire puck crossed the goal line, because it has to for it to count as a goal. And I'm not sure the ref in that position could have possibly known 100% whether it had or hadn't. Unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of reviewing plays like that on a replay. So the goal stands, and the Bulls lead 2-1 after one period of hockey has concluded here at the KYC. Now for your out-of-town scoreboard update, folks. Pretty busy night in the North American Hockey League. The Aston Rebels in Johnstown taking on the Tomahawks. Aston came from behind last night to eke out the win. They're tied right now 2-2 through 2 periods of play. Cooley Region in Janesville taking on the Jets. Cooley, of course, fighting for their playoff lives with a couple of Wildcats on board on their roster. No score through nearly a period of play. The Janesville Ice Arena up in southern Wisconsin. The Odessa Jackalopes have rallied back to tie the Topeka Roadrunners, the score being 1-1 up at the Landon Arena. J.V. Baker opened the scoring. He was set up by Jack DiMatteo for Topeka. Answered 6 minutes later by Brennan Miller. And there's some players' names who I don't recognize on the Odessa Jackalopes because of all the suspensions that were handed out to some of their more feisty players after that major altercation which took place last Saturday night at the NITEC Sports Center with the Lone Star Brahmas. So Brennan Miller scored the goal to tie the game up for Odessa. He was set up by Noah Poindexter and Ben DeMaio. I have seen Ben DeMaio's name pretty recently, an added player to the Odessa Jackalopes. And never, however, have I seen Noah Poindexter. Lots of new names I do not recognize on the Jackalopes roster. In fact, there's a player who doesn't even have his name registered on Point Streak yet. So not the best time for them to be losing some players, Odessa. We'll see how they fare without not only some of their important players, but without their head coach, Greg Gatto, who was also suspended by the North American Hockey League for his antics. And that team very well worth following if you're a Wildcats fan, because how the rest of the South Division shapes out has yet to be decided. The Wildcats' opponent in the first round very much still in contention. It can be one of three teams. Mathematically, it can be Topeka, it can be Odessa, and it can be Corpus Christi. The Bismarck Bobcats in Brookings, North Dakota, taking on the Blizzard. It's a 1-1 hockey game up in Brookings, South Dakota, my apologies. The Corpus Christi Ice Rays at the Nitec Center, taking on the Lone Star Brahmas, who won last night 4-2. After the comeback, Carson Kelly scored the lone goal of that game. It's 1-0 Lone Star, 6 minutes remaining in period one, out in suburban Fort Worth. Springfield in Minnesota in Cloquet, taking on the 2015 Robertson Cup champion Minnesota Wilderness. The Springfield Junior Blues trailing the Wilderness 2-0. The Minnesota Magicians in Minot taking on Max Reisinger and the Minotauros. It's a 1-1 hockey game late in period one at the Misa Arena up in Minot, North Dakota. Max Reisinger in the lineup tonight for Marty Murray and the Minotauros. However, he's been held scoreless through nearly a period of play. Couple of games taking place in Alaska later on this evening. The Fairbanks Ice Dogs, the Kenai River Brown Bears hosting the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights and the New Jersey Titans, respectively. We're just 80 seconds away, folks, from some second period Wildcats hockey brought to you by American Classifieds. They can hope that it's going to be a better period than the first. They trail 2-1 going into period two despite outshooting the Bulls 15-8. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few seconds. We've got quite a raucous house on our hands tonight, folks. The KYC electrified, amped up. The public address announcer, Charles Campbell, pouring some gasoline on the fire that is this crowd this evening. Jeff Baum with the puck early on. Yeager caught offside. We get a whistle just 5 seconds into period two. Welcome back to the broadcast, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that intermission report. 2-1 Amarillo going into period two. 5 seconds into the period. The Wildcats hoping to make up that deficit here. Second periods have been their bread and butter of late. Last night was no exception, nor was it an exception in Corpus Christi. They dominated the second period down there last weekend. Nikita Litviak has the puck along the half board, sets up Yeager for a shot, goes just wide, short side of the net. Good chance for Yeager in the early going here, less than 20 seconds into the period. Baum with an intercept. He springs Litviak the other way on a 3-on-2 rush. Litviak left circle, holds and shoots. It was blocked by his own man, a diving Eric Yeager. Penalty upcoming against the Bulls. Snipus point to point. Baum takes the shot through traffic. Blocked. The Bulls fail to touch up on the puck. Ferguson pursuing it. Litviak has it behind his own net. There's a broken stick down there. Litviak pivots away from Nels, who finally takes the puck off his stick. But the Bulls will be shorthanded for the second time this game. Not only did they kill the last penalty they were tasked with killing with their leading scorer sitting in the penalty box, but they scored a shorthanded goal, and now one of their better defensemen, Phil Fromberger, is going to have a seat. The Amarillo power play, well, it's been abysmal this season, folks. It has been one of the biggest reasons they've had a season to forget this year. The Amarillo penalty kill, rather, 77.4%. That's second worst in the entire North American Hockey League, as the puck has just been cleared the length of the ice. The Wildcats, on the other hand, with a very lethal power play, 22.7%, fourth best. So it's a strength against a weakness here, and the Wildcats hope they can capitalize. Ryan Burnett skates through center, dishes it off to the right side. Albrecht is on his off wing. He one-hands it further along the end boards. Burnett swipes it around the boards. Now Poikla left half wall. Poikla to the goal line. It's Lazarus holding on. The Wildcats love to set him up at the goal line. He's got all kinds of poise and patience down there. He works his way to the top of the far circle. Gives it back in deep, and Burnett's cross crease didn't work out. He was hoping for Albrecht. Gilraith did well. He keeps it alive. Lazarus, Burnett, goal line. Played it off a Salau's skate back to Lazarus, far circle. Circle-to-circle pass for Albrecht, whose one-timer is patted aside by the goaltender, Brian Baker. Now Albrecht wheels it in deep, gives it to Ryan Burnett. Burnett's shot left circle, blocked and went off the glass and behind the net. Play continues. Lazarus has it. Gilraith wants it. Tries to go cross ice there for Poikla. Good read, good intercept by Nitschi. Even better back check by Alexei Poikla. He gives a backhand saucer past the width of the ice to Lazarus. He's onside, sets up Albrecht in the slot. He fires, rattles just wide of the cage. Now it's going to be held alive temporarily by Baum, poked off his stick and back out to center. Here's Charlie Singerhouse. Has a shorthanded goal already to his name. Turns it over, and Goodser put it around his own net. Now it's Jeff Baum taking over. 2 minutes into period two. The Wildcats with half a minute remaining on their power play here. The Wildcats power play is brought to you by Jim Arnold Collision Repairs. What a keep made by Jeff Baum at the blue line. No high stick. Beaulieu put it in front. Tipped high and over the net. Now it's picked up by Adam Goodser along the half boards. He surveys. He looks. Sets up Beaulieu. Top of the left circle. Returns. Goodser fires. Save. And the puck rattles into the near corner. Joe DiBenedetto wrapped up by Goodser. Tried to give it across. Puck intercepted and cleared the length of the ice. Kapellmeister drops it off for Jeff Baum. The Amarillo Bulls 2 for 2 now on their penalty kill this evening. Here come the Cats, however. Andre Paisan, fresh off a change, puts it on his backhand, dips the shoulder, tries to cut to the net. Ran out of real estate. 2 Amarillo Bulls cut it off. Now here comes Jake Houston. He will flop the puck back in. Santoro in pursuit of it. No icing as Russell touches up. Dalton tries to push it back further around the end boards. Santoro and Ferguson did so instead. Foreman chops at it, keeps it alive. Puck played behind the Wildcats net. Jake Dalton takes a hit from Santoro. Paisan picks up the puck. He will guide it out to center ice over to Amarillo Sticks. Now Rosa right back on the counterattack. Right wing side fires a shot. Stick save by Baker and out of play. 3.5 minutes have gone by in period two. 2-1 Amarillo. 19-8 the shots on goal in favor of the Cats. But Brian Baker has stood tall for his team. And I don't think we'll be seeing much of Alex Cathcart tonight, folks. 2 goaltenders tonight on their respective benches who have played very, very little, if any, for their teams tonight. Alex Cathcart for the Amarillo Bulls made his first saves last night. He was 4 of 5. Here come the Bulls on a 2-on-1. Gilraith hustles back. Molinaro right side fires, stopped by Kapellmeister. George Meek is going to pick up the rebound all the way out at the right half wall, and Rounds comes together with Joey Molinaro in deep down there. Cole Norris ends up with it. The gritty forward tied up to it by an equally gritty defenseman, Noah Gilraith. Loose puck corral behind the Wildcats net. Nick Rosa failed to clear it. Held alive by Fromberger, and his shot is gloved by Kapellmeister. Kapellmeister now 8 of 10 on the evening. 4 minutes into period two. But Alex Cathcart, as I was saying, the Bulls' backup goaltender tonight, played in his second game. The only other game he had played in, he didn't make any saves, so I'm assuming it came very late as a replacement for Anton Martinson or Brian Baker. But Cathcart made his first saves as an Amarillo Bull last night. Native of Irvine, California, played in his just a second game as an Amarillo Bull. Spent a large chunk of this season under Anton Martinson's shadow, filming and logging tapes for his team as the Wildcats are off on a 2-on-2 rush as Lazarus was going to the net and the shot was off target from Albrecht. Now Meininger banks it off the boards, kept alive left point by Baum. Ricochets in behind the net. Lazarus overskates it. Fromberger picks it up. Good deke move, gets around Alexei Poikla. Lipis tries to spring a counterattack, but it caught Albrecht and Lazarus off guard. Now Sarnowski flutters the puck into an empty corner. Baum's going to be first to get it. No icing upcoming here as Poikla takes over behind his own net. Nitchie with a bit of a high stick on Jeff Baum. I think he's going to get away with that. And now Houston gets it back up the right wing side. Santoro beaten to it by Poikila, who will jab it back to Baum. Poikila is slashed. And again, no penalty. Dillinger carries over the blue line. Poikila long-range shot. Looks like we may have an offside whistle or perhaps an illegal line change against the Wildcats. I believe that will be the case. Too many men on the ice or an illegal line change, a bench minor, and Coach LaFontaine deciding to send Austin Albrecht to the Cats sin bin. So the Wildcats given a pretty daunting task here. They gave up a power play goal the last time they were faced with a man advantage, and they are trying to improve to 1 for 2. Amarillo's power play has been near the middle of the North American Hockey League for a big chunk of this season. They are currently 12th with a 16.1 conversion rate. The Wildcats' penalty kill has been a strength of the teams all year round. 86.3% on the penalty kill. It's third best in the league. Trailing only the Minnesota Wilderness and the Lone Star Brahmas. Phil Fromberger keeps the puck alive. Left point, Gernhofer goes across for Salau, whose bullet of a shot just missed wide far side. Fromberger once more put it in a bit too deep for George Mika. Banks right back around the glass. Excellent keep by Jeff Salau. Tried to give it down the boards and the puck cleared once again. 14 minutes remain in period 2. 2-1 Amarillo. 19-10 the shots on goal in favor of the Cats. The Bulls with about a minute and 5 seconds or so to work this power play as Phil Fromberger leads the rush as one of 2 defensemen on the ice on this power play. George Mika goes back around the boards. The Bulls like to have 2 D-men on the power play as opposed to the Cats, who like to just have 1 and set up in the umbrella. As a shot is turned just wide by Cole Norris out in front. Norris picks up the puck and pivots away from Rounds. Norris gains some ice on Rounds, down in deep behind the Cats net. Flutters back in behind the goal once more. An excellent play made by Tyler Gernhofer, displaying some good hand-eye coordination. Puck chipped ahead. The Cats could have a rush here. Good defensive play made by Phil Fromberger. Here comes Garrett Van Wy. Shoulders Salau down to the ice. Van Wy pushed it in behind the net. Wraparound try by Goodsir. And Baker had the paddle down. He made the save. As a bit of a disagreement ensues shortly thereafter. 24 seconds remain on the bench minor to the Wildcats. Bit of an opportunity there on that shorthanded rush between Adam Goodsir and Garrett Van Wy. Polio taking a rare face-off. He wins it. Cypress at the right point. Wheels it around the boards. Joey Molinaro's pretty open down there. He takes over behind his own net. Gives it to his alternate captain, Matt Nels. Speaking of captains, I'm not sure how long this has been the case, but I noticed upon watching, rewatching that video between the Brahmas and the Jackalopes, that line altercation that occurred last Saturday night. I noticed that they have officially named a captain to their team. Here comes Paisan on the right wing. Fires a backhand shot that's gloved by Brian Baker. And the former Kenai River Brown Bear with his 20th save of the evening. But Sean Giles, the veteran blue liner for Dan Wildfong and the Lone Star Brahmas, has been named the team's captain. And as far as I'm aware, Hogan Davidson remains an alternate captain. John Zimmerman also promoted to alternate captain. Zimmerman found himself in an altercation with Cooper Zeck in that game. And from what I've heard, Zimmerman was suspended. And I gotta tell you folks, upon watching that, I didn't see a thing that Zimmerman did wrong. It was Cooper Zeck who initiated the entire fight. Zimmerman clearly didn't want to fight him. Cooper Zeck, I believe still the youngest player in the North American Hockey League, born in December of 1998. That's about as young as they come. Committed to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, the younger brother of Zach Zeck. And because he's under 18, he still needs to wear a full metal cage. And because of that, well, Zimmerman really had no desire to fight him. Throughout the altercation, Zek was just pounding away on Zimmerman, who was just trying to hold him off and keep the blows as few and far between as he possibly could. One guy wanting to fight, the other one not. It was a simple case of that as far as I could tell. And if Zimmerman was suspended for defending himself, then, boy, I'm not sure why that's the case. Regardless, it will not affect the Wildcats because